No.
Bam!
Got that one.
Nice.
It's like fireworks.
Ah!
Pull. Pull.
Well, and welcome back, my friends, to another episode of The Lawn Care Nut. This time we're continuing with our 2017 project lawn here in Bluffton, South Carolina. But before we catch up with Doug and his lawn here in mid to late April, let's go back and take a look at what the lawn looked like a little over a month ago, just coming out of winter dormancy.
All right, so it's middle of March. Weather's starting to get warmer. Last week was brutally cold, but it's been getting warmer. I think the soil temps are up, definitely compared to throughout the winter. The yard is not as brown as it has been. It's starting to turn green, which is a good thing. We like green, but we've got a lot of weeds coming in. We've got a lot of bare spots. We had a hurricane, so we had a lot of trees down. We had a lot of holes in the yard from where trees landed. You can see a lot of spots here where I had filled in with dirt just to even the surface of the lawn. But overall, it's not horrible. I don't have any pictures from years past, but I remember it being worse than this. So it seems like every year it gets a little bit better. And we had done some preventative things in the fall, which I think helped. We still have this dog path that goes around the house because my dog's 7 tons and she drags her feet, so there's nothing we're ever going to be able to do about that. But the rest of it, you know, it's a bit patchy. You know, like Alan mentioned, it's not a single species lawn. There's a lot of different kinds of grasses in here. It's mostly St. Augustine at the far end where Maybell's laying. Centipede over here. But we do have these patches of dirt, which I hope will fill in here in a few weeks. Here's another spot where that wasn't actually a tree that fell. That was you. You dug a hole. Oh, she's a bit of a digger. She's got shovels. She walks on shovels. Maybell, did you dig a hole over here? Did you dig a hole? Did you do that? So I did run the yard sweeper through the whole yard. It doesn't get everything, but it does get the bulk of it. If I didn't run that, you wouldn't be able to see grass. There'd be so many leaves because, I mean, we're surrounded by trees. So I did run the yard sweeper to get the majority of it up, but it's still, as you can see, that's what the yard sweeper leaves behind. A lot of sticks and leaves. So I'm gonna hand rake. I did hand rake all of this. You can see a stripe right through here. That's a pile of leaves I haven't picked up yet, and another one over here. So I'll pick those up, get some sun and air to this grass and soil. But that's where we're at right now.
All right, here we go. See if I can get both of us in again. I figure if I go far enough back, I won't cut your head off.
No longer stick.
That's what I always needed my whole life. What's up, y'all? I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet another week. And there he is. You guys have been asking, where's Doug? Where's our update? Today is your update on the project lawn here in Bluffton, South Carolina. Let's go right into it, Doug. We've done a lot. By the way, I was just gonna say, I'll give you guys a full update of everything that's been put down here because Doug and I have been corresponding over like Facebook and stuff. So we'll go through what's been put down here. We have had 2 applications for sure. One was a pre-emergent and it also had some fertilizer in it. And then a second one which is done, which is bonus S, was just done like 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah. So those are the 2. I'll go ahead and link all the description, or I'll give you all the details to that right now. And then we'll move on and get an update of where we are. Now, as you guys know, in the lawn, plans often change, and we weren't able to get out and get these applications done as early in the spring as I wanted to, but I was able to work with Doug over the internet, and very shortly after this update video, I had him put down his first application of the year. I just grabbed this Bonide crabgrass preventer with fertilizer right off of Amazon, and I did that because it's going to be quick and easy for him to put down using the broadcast spreader. Key being here, we wanted to keep things simple, so we went with a granular product. Now, I'm not married to this particular product in any way, shape, or form. I just want to give you the quick analysis to it. So that first app, again, has got that prodiamine in it, which is just going to help keep out weeds for the rest of the year. Secondly, we did get some in value here, and it's a 2408. The bags are 16 pounds each, so we've got 32 pounds of product divided by 9 1,000 square foot areas. Means we're going to have an application rate of 3.5 pounds per thousand. To calculate in, we take the 3.5 pounds per thousand and we multiply that by the 24%, which is what this bag is, 24% nitrogen, and that comes out at 0.85. So we are just under 1 pound in for that first application done in mid to late March. Throw her down! And then just about 3 weeks later, as the lawn really started popping out of dormancy, weeds were getting out of control. So I talked to Doug and I said, all right, go ahead and get this Bonus S. Now, for those of you that don't know anything about Scott's Bonus S for southern lawns, it works good for Centipede and St Augustine, and that's the mixture that Doug has in his lawn. I'll link below to a video I just did recently where I kind of give you the ins and outs of Bonus S. It's not necessarily something that I endorse, but it is a very good tool to use, again, if you need granular applications, and it does contain atrazine, which is a pre- and post-emergent herbicide. What have you been noticing, Doug? I mean, I know you've been noticing a lot, but just over the last couple weeks here, what have you noticed coming in?
A lot. I mean, I think some of you remember the hurricane we had when we first started this, and it was a mess, and we've had 10 trees gone since then. A lot of stumps ground, but a lot of limbs were down, a lot of dead spots in the yard. But yeah, it's coming back. The fertilizer really helped make everything green. There's a lot of weeds and there's a mix of different species of grass, but green is good.
And then the dark spots, are these from your dog, you think? Does she come out here, Big May? Or no?
Yeah, she's all over the place.
She goes wherever she wants, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what these are. In fact, I'm pretty sure. So this is a classic dog spot. And what you see here is, this is St. Augustine mostly here. Looks like there's a dandelion right there too. But what you see is, you see the dead spot in the middle. This is where, we're not gonna put our hands on it because of what was there. I'm just kidding. But this is probably where the urine originated, but then you see it acted like a fertilizer out on the outside. So it kind of burns out the middle and acts like a fertilizer on the outside. The good news is with St. Augustine, it just runs itself back in, which is what you can see is happening. So those are definitely what those are. Nothing you can do. I mean, you have dogs. What are you gonna do, you know? I also see nutsedge here. This right here is yellow nutsedge. And you're not supposed to pull these because it ends up growing worse, but that is yellow nutsedge. I don't have anything today that's gonna take care of that, but we'll get that on the next round. We are gonna do some weed control spot sprays today. I've got some atrazine, which is a very good weed control because we have 2 species of grass here. As Doug mentioned, we've got St. Augustine and then we also have Centipede. So the atrazine is safe for both of those, or labeled on both of those. And then when I come back on the next round, that's when we'll come in with some heavier duty stuff that'll get rid of all the rest that remains. Let's go talk about that brown spot over there.
Well, I don't want to talk about that spot.
Yeah, it's a sore spot, literally. But no, I think this is good because, well, tell us what happened, and then you'll see that way some of the audience members can see that they're not alone, right? In this kind of thing.
Putting down fertilizer, and I stopped the spreader and didn't shut it off. So it was just sitting there with fertilizer running out of it. And by the time I realized, I mean, I had a pretty good pile of fertilizer sitting there. I picked up as much as I could with my hands, and I was like, well, I'll just spread it around. It'll be fine. And I spread it all around with a rake.
Okay, so, but you know what? I mean, what else are you gonna do at that point, right? The only other choice you have is to get a shovel and shovel it out underneath. But I mean, that's kind of invasive. This was the one from 2 weeks ago. So here's the deal, and a lot of people ask, if you over fertilize, will it burn the lawn? This is actually not burned from fertilizer. This is burned from the atrazine.
That's the Bonus S stuff that we
Yep.
put down.
So in that Bonus S, we have fertilizer, and then we also have the atrazine, which is the weed killer, and that is what caused this issue. It may not show up on the camera, but there's a little bit of an orangey cast to this. That's how you know it's, especially like on the edges, I can see like it's a little more orange. That's how you know that it's a herbicide burn rather than a fertilizer burn. Fertilizer burn will basically just take it straight brown, but the herbicide burn usually turns it a little bit of an orange color. So either way, this will come back. We have a couple choices here. You could put some plugs in there or something. I say we just leave it though and see what comes back. You'd be amazed at what will recover just from water. The reason we illustrate this is not to embarrass Doug. It's to let you guys know that this stuff happens to everybody, right? Including me. I've burned spots on my lawn. The difference is I can just edit that out. I don't have to be honest about it, right? So anyway, I think I keep cutting Doug's head off. It's a problem with working with tall people when you're short, but all right.
So this spot's kind of thin, and it always has been. It gets good water coverage with the sprinkler system, so I don't really understand why.
Yeah, and it gets sunlight too.
Yeah, so, I mean, but I haven't been real good about fertilizing and stuff in the past, so I'm anxious to see what our process does with this particular area right here.
For sure. And you can see there's some, I think this is Dallas grass here. This is ugly stuff.
All the tall stuff.
Yeah.
Really, I picked an entire wheelbarrow load of that out of the grass because it was
So you're hand picking all that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's really the only thing you can do. It's either Dallas grass or maybe Johnson grass. I'll look it up for sure.
But just these patches everywhere like this. And I pull them out.
Yeah.
I didn't get much of the roots on that one, but you know, I pull them out like that. I filled a wheelbarrow full of them, and they're still, you can see them, they're everywhere. But
yeah. Far back, it doesn't look too bad. You know, we got a few thin areas in here, but these will come in, I'm pretty sure. But overall, we're not too bad.
A lot of this has been thin in the past because of the massive tree that was right there. There was a tree that its canopy covered the entire front yard. That's gone with this. So the yard's never had this much sunlight in its life.
Yep, and that's going to be a big advantage for us. I think part of this in here too is, again, if you're looking down in here, we have acorns and stuff. It's impossible to get these out of here. But this changes the composition of the soil. It literally blocks. This is St. Augustine. You can see it just runs across. Those things block. We have little trees growing here everywhere. I mean, we have a hodgepodge of things going on that they're out of our control completely.
I've run the yard sweeper that you drag behind the tractor multiple times. It doesn't do much with getting the acorns, but I did hand rake quite a bit, and I've taken wheelbarrowfuls of these out of the yard, but still, I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah, and I think once we get the grass thicker, that will help. I mean, that's just, you're right, we have sunlight now, you have your sprinkler system fixed, which you did a while ago. Now we just need to get some more fert in here and let the sun do its thing. So coming back through here on the side, I mean, this looks nice. This is a pretty sweep through here. I mean, we have some spots over here where the dogs run. You know, that's not going to be something we could ever correct. But still, I mean, I think we're getting some progress down and through here. No, it's good. This is real life. All right, so life happens.
This is a video of me destroying my lawn. I'm going to show you all the ways I ruined it.
All right, so tell me what you were doing. So back here was covered with leaves.
Yeah, because there are two massive trees there. I mean, there would be 3 inches of leaves back here. So once we got the trees gone and it started to get warm out, I decided to start raking. So I raked everything away from the fence like this, and you know, all the way down, and just raked all of this. You can see a stripe right through here. That's a pile of leaves I haven't picked up yet, and another one over here. Down and just pulled everything away. And then I did the same thing over here, but I raked this way, and I made a big stripe of, you know, a pile of leaves. And then life happens, and you got to take care of the kids and make dinner, and it sat there for probably 2 weeks. And now I have a stripe of no grass, and everything else came in great. If I would have raked and picked up everything, I think this would look a lot better.
So again, oh, I put my sunglasses on. Again, another thing we all learn, and you guys in the comments will say, you'll see, you guys will say in the comments, you've done similar things. Why don't you guys just share stories of stuff you've done that you learn? Because you just don't think about it. People don't, it's not something you think about.
It never crossed my mind that I would have done that, otherwise I would have been more...
Right.
Actually, I gotta put this golf cart in the trailer.
This is Doug's definition of a golf cart.
My race car tow vehicle.
Pull her out. What's up, girl? Haven't seen you in a while. I just want you guys to see, while Doug's over there doing all the hard work, we are not all doom and gloom here. This St. Augustine mean, look at it, it's tracking. It's tracking actually very well. We have weeds in here, but the St. Augustine is still tracking. It's doing its thing and it's taken over like we want. Am I seeing some stripage? Hey, maybe you could stripe the centipede. I don't know. People ace, can you stripe the centipede? I'm seeing some evidence of some possible striping, at least true to wheels so far there. No idea why I decided to do that Chicago accent right there, because we're not anywhere near Chicago. That mower is pretty though. I mean, I gotta say, if anything, it is a very pretty mower. I love it, I use it, you guys see me use it at my house. It just looks good. Fail. One other thing to remember here, because we have Centipede and because we have St. Augustine, we have to watch the mowing height, right? I mean, St. Augustine we can take up to 4 inches and probably that's best. Centipede really should be lower, 2.5 inches, 3 at the max. So where we're mowing at here is just under 3 inches. It's the middle setting on this mower because we kind of got to appease both here. So we're gonna take the St. Augustine out of its comfort level to help the Centipede also. So kind of a give and take there. And then here are some areas where we have Centipede. You can see we have some St. Augustine in here, but we've also got the Centipede coming in, and this is also tracking well. And these actually blend fairly well. For those of you that were wondering if these two can blend, they actually can. Another thing we are going to be doing today is spraying weeds, and some of you might ask, well, should you cut before you spray weeds? And the answer is maybe. I mean, if you can still get a good coverage on the weeds, you're cutting tall enough, you know, then it's fine. If you're cutting so low, or you're cutting low that there are no leaf surfaces left for the weeds to absorb the weed control, and the answer is no, you shouldn't cut first. In our case, we're gonna be able to still see the weeds, we're gonna be able to still put contact on them, and we'll be fine. For example, you can see this area here was just mowed, but I can still see the oxalis. It's not gonna be a problem getting to it. Another thing I just noticed, just kind of now that we're out here in the lawn a little bit, is I had talked to Doug earlier about maybe taking the sprinklers up a little bit. He's got 3 days a week going, 30 minutes a zone. I thought maybe we should get that up to 45. I haven't done any testing, but just to make sure we're getting a good soaking here in the middle. And it's kind of interesting now that things are mowed, I can see where some of the water coverage may need to be added up a little bit. Let's see. So what you can see is this area here. Let's go look at the grass blades compared to over there. So these are getting beat with full sun. Now we're still, you know, early afternoon here, but you can see, and this full sun was never here before. There was a tree right there. You can see a stump of it. This used to be shaded. Now all of a sudden this is exposed to direct sunlight, and you can see the coloring's a little different here. The blades are kind of curled up. Let's see if I can show you. See how the blades, this is Centipede, see how the blades are curled up there? Whereas when I come over here, the blades are a little bit more wide open, see? Wide open to receive the sun. That's because these have enough irrigation. And these over here could probably use just a little bit more. So I don't know if there's a sprinkler. Let's see if you can see this in the camera, but I don't know if there's a sprinkler that kind of ends right there, and maybe another sprinkler pattern begins here, or if we've just got a high spot here. We also have a lot more of that problem grass that I think is Dallas grass. It's also right there. So composition of the soil is probably different here than over there. A lot of challenges, but definitely we need to get some more irrigation on that spot right there. And then we come into a nice, beautiful, thick patch here. Look at this. This is just gorgeous. I mean, this is really what Centipede can be. Just nice, just beautiful, feels great. Speaking of that, same thing here. Doug mentioned this earlier. He's noticed this is a problem area. But if you look, it kind of tracks tracks that way, so I don't know. I don't know if there's something under here, something buried there or what, but you can see it goes right there. It's really apparent here where the grass is growing real nice and then nothing, so something's here. I don't know what. Could just be that got a little heavy-handed in here. It looks like I can still see some fert lingering. So maybe it's be got a little heavy-handed in here too. I don't know. We'll have to monitor. So what you've just seen here is an example of how you play lawn detective, how you think about your situation and how you stay situationally aware while you're in the lawn. Now it's easy for me because he's doing all the work, right? But still, same kind of thing. Also, I come from the outside, right? I don't see this every day, and you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder kind of thing. When I'm not looking at the lawn every day, when I come in, I'll spot things, I'll spot flaws that someone who's here every day can kind of overlook a little bit. So it's always good to have a second opinion, have somebody come in, look at the lawn and play detective in that way, that they might see things that you necessarily don't, or they might see them in a different light. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but this looks a lot prettier now that it's cut. I mean, a fresh cut always does, you know, improve the look of anything. Yeah, all right, hold on. Doug doesn't know what the circle dance is. He's gonna know. So what do you got left?